Welcome to Purpose-Driven Leadership, hosted by Victoria Poku. Victoria is a solution engineer at Salesforce, working in the Service Cloud Specialist team. The team's goal is to use their customer service expertise to become trusted advisors and highlight how Salesforce service products can solve customer service challenges by demonstrating the art of the possible. In addition to her core role, she is the co-president of BOLDforce UK, the Black Organization for Leadership and Development, an employee resource-led group. The team has a strong focus on elevating and celebrating Black excellence and supporting charities such as Generating Genius, Urban Synergy, Football Beyond Borders, and African Science Academy. We also have Brigid Charmant, Head of UK SME Business, and Stephanie Vitols, Director Sales Development at Salesforce. Victoria, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. So as that great introduction mentioned, my name is Victoria Poku. I've been at Salesforce for the past 3 years, and I originally joined through one of the graduate schemes here at Salesforce. So before I go on to introduce today's session, which is titled Purpose-Driven Leadership, I wanted to provide a little background as to what Salesforce is. It may be the first time some of you have heard about Salesforce. So Salesforce is a global leader in customer relationship management. We bring companies of every size, every industry together with their customers. And we are guided by our key values, that is trust, customer success, innovation, and equality. And we transform businesses, careers, and just the societies that we all live in. So Salesforce is striving to create a workplace that reflects the diverse communities around us and where everyone feels seen, heard, valued, and empowered to succeed. There is more work to be done, but together we can build a more equal workplace and world for all. And now it is my honor to introduce our panel and panelists. So I would like to give a warm welcome to panelist Brigid Charmant, so Head of UK Small and Medium Business at Salesforce, and Stephanie Vitols, Director of Business Development at Salesforce. So today's session, we're going to have Brigid and Stephanie sharing what inspires them to lead with intention and having that inclusive lens in the all-new digital world. So they'll be sharing ways to invest both in yourselves and others, and the way to lead towards a brighter future. So let's jump straight in. So before we begin, I would really love for both of you to tell the audience a little bit more about your career journeys. Can you tell us a bit of your backgrounds and what has led you to where you are today?
Okay, I'm happy to start. It's good to be here, Victoria, and with Stephanie. So I suppose, so I'm Brigid, and maybe I'll do some of the personal and then the career piece as well. So born and grew up in Ghana, and but I call Ireland home for the last 30 years. So yeah, clearly showing my age there. I actually studied marketing in college, but I've ended up in sales. So if you'd said that to me way back when, this would have been the journey or path I would have taken, that definitely wouldn't been a path in terms of how I perceived sales was very, very different until I got to learn more about that. As well as that, I suppose for me, so I've about 20 years tech experience working in the industry, and just had lots of numerous, individual roles in sales. And then kind of more recently in the last kind of 7-8 years, been doing leadership roles for running small teams, actually scaling large, big teams as well in sales organizations. I'm still loving it. I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid within sales, and just seeing incredible people starting on their journeys, as well as, growing into leaders themselves as well, following a similar path that I've done. In terms of just as a leader, I think it's changed over the years. I've learned from it. It's definitely evolved, and it's always evolving, and I'll continue to do so as a leader. And I think for me, I'm very passionate, self-aware leader, but I have a big focus on my own development is really, really important, and then developing people around me as well. And I'd probably say quite driven, collaborative, and strategic. So bit of an introduction with me personally, and a bit around the career.
Thank you, Brigid. And Stephanie?
Thanks very much, Brigid. Hi, everyone. I'm delighted to be here as well. So I'm Stephanie Vitols. I'm a business development director at Salesforce. And a little bit more about my team. Actually, my team initiated the first outreach to our potential customers. And I'd say that I consider myself as a value people-driven leader. At Salesforce, family matters, and we nurture what I say the spirit of Ohana, family in Hawaiian. And I'd say that this relates to me personally because family is my top core value and my foundation. I'd say I was born in Ivory Coast. I grew up in France, and regardless of where my family is today, building a strong relationship is paramount, and I'd say as well that it fosters a positive change. Talking about change, after being specialized in languages and business, I spent 5 years in France working for a small family startup. I was selling hardware and training. And I decided 16 years ago to see if the grass was greener in Ireland, and it has been beyond measure. I was able to connect and embrace my life mission, I'd say, which is to improve the state of humanity by putting people at the heart of development. It's something that drives me on a day-to-day. The very same way Salesforce will put its ecosystem of customers and partners at the heart of success. And I would say, last but not least, and most importantly, I'm a mother, and I aspire to blaze a trail of a more better world and equal world for my girls. So if I had to put in a nutshell what brought me here, from where I was to where I am today, I'd say that three things. So the first things are my core values of family, of sense of accountability, I'd say, and impact. And knowing our values are important to guide our actions and to give us this sense of purpose. The second thing I'd say that brought me where I am today, of course, my life mission of putting people at the heart of development. And I'd say that knowing our core value give us this sense of, I feel I make a difference, not only on a business standpoint, but on a human as well. And the third and last thing, I'd say my circle of trust, which has been important, supporting, but challenging me on the day-to-day as well. And my point here today is to, for all the people tuning in today, to surround yourself by people who are pushing you to achieve the greatest of your potential.
Thank you, Stephanie. So we're going to jump into a couple more questions. Whilst we're running through a couple questions for Stephanie and Brigid, please feel free to drop questions in the Q&A and in the chat, and we'll get to those at the end. So the first question is going to be around the C word, COVID, around the pandemic and how you've got through that. So in the past year and a half, it's been like nothing that any of us really could have seen coming. Can you give us a glimpse into what the past year has been like for you personally, and the challenges you faced, and also where you found hope and inspiration? So I'm going to pass this to Stephanie.
Thanks, Victoria. Yes, the C word. I'd say that I think of a dear spiritual leader of mine who once said that the joy we feel has little to do with the circumstances of our lives and everything to do with the focus of our lives. And the past 20 years have been, I would say, tough for everyone, including my family and myself. So we went through a time of illness, of loss of loved ones, not being able to see our families. I'm based in Ireland, as you know. I haven't seen my family for the past 20 months. Soon, And I don't know about you, but for me, definitely feelings of doubts, of uncertainties about the future. And among those challenges, Victoria, I think that many different things, but three things really help me to keep, the hope going. And this first thing, I'd say, the WHO, first and foremost, my foundation of family and circle of trust, and this is important. We have been supporting each other on a daily basis, every moment, and this has made a difference. The second thing, which has gave me hope, is the why of what I'm doing actually. And I was talking about my purpose and my mission, but the very fact to have this responsibility as well, to strive and thrive, to empower people in order for them to achieve their potential. This has helped me going on a day-to-day and gave me this hope. And maybe a third thing, which I'm really grateful for, and it's the how it has been made. Since the very beginning of the pandemic until now, actually, our global leadership team at Salesforce has kept us connected together through fortnight calls. And I have to say that this made a difference. The objective was to reassure in the situation. It was to encourage, to listen, to educate, to motivate and inspire. And I have to say that personally, in those challenging times, this has helped me, has given me hope and maybe settle the concerns that I have about what's happening and what the future looks like. So those are those three things, Victoria, that have helped me, kept me going and gave me a hope in those times of challenges.
Yeah, I can definitely second that point around, I guess, Salesforce protecting our wellness during this time and feeling that support from work. Just to kind of jump to something that still relates to COVID in the sense of we've had to change the way we work in the future, and it's probably going to be different forever from now on. The future of work is taking shape before our eyes. And the shift to a digital first environment is about so much more than how we use our office spaces or how we communicate with one another. So how can we create a future of work that is more inclusive and is more reflective of everyone? I'll pose this to Brigid.
Yeah, and I think it transfers so well into what Stephanie was talking about there. Especially, I think we've learned so much in the last 18 months. And we've learned that what we thought was how things needed to be done, or the type of people that we needed to attract into our organizations was a certain way. I think we've learned so much more that there's a new opportunity. So I definitely think in Salesforce, there's been a lot of intense reflection around that. There's been learning and transformation really as an organization. So we actually did a research last year on this as well, in last October, and I think there was about 60% of the respondents on the survey that Salesforce did the research was that they were expecting to work from home to become the actual norm. So for us, that now changed a lot of things for us and how we typically been as an organization. And we talked about our core values, we're mentioning at the opening, of this call, where quality is one of those at the core. So we're using that as our center, right, to frame this new vision now, the future from, for work, which we're calling success from anywhere, right, internally within Salesforce. So now that means if you think about when don't have constraints anymore, if you thought about, we have this HQ culture where, if you went to apply for an organization, there was an office headquarters, there was whole regions, geographies, right, cities that were restricting us in terms of the talent, right, pool that was available to us. And now that's definitely changed where we can go beyond that and reach different communities, right, and geographies as well. So there's some of the things that, we're looking at changing and the impact. to take advantage of that opportunity. We're also looking at redesigning all of our talent processes with diversity, equity, as well as inclusion, right, in that core as well. And that means as we hire, we need to reskill, retrain ourselves as well to make sure that we're all using inclusive hiring, right, practices, or how we look at promotions within our organization. That enables all of our leaders from all the way up to, no matter what level you're at within the organizations, on how to address microaggressions that we might come across, or the biases that we naturally have. So while the opportunity is there, we still need to invest in ourselves to make sure that our processes are inclusive, and we reskill ourselves. And we also making sure that people are accessing this through whether it's mentorship, right, and development programs for our underrepresented groups. So I think you have to be very, very deliberate around that change and that opportunity, because it is a great opportunity, but you have to put in processes around that. And there is some reskilling, right, involved within that. So there are some of the things that we're seeing that changes, and this whole era where a lot of people are saying, when we go into the office, we're not really expecting you to go in and say, do you know what, we're just going to go in to sit down and do our work. It has to be something where it's a collaborative environment. So we're reimagining all of our global offices around actually what does that space now need to look like to foster that community, and that collaborative environment. And we've looked at, going flex agreements for, some of our teams in terms of what makes sense. So we're doing that as an organization across our communities to say, what are those teaming agreements that make sense? How often do we need to be in the office, so that we're now actually getting a reach for everybody in groups that we may potentially have never had, opportunities to bring that talent pool in. So it's not done. We're working on it. It's definitely an evolving thing because it's new for every organization. But I think we have the intent with equality, diversity, inclusion around how we approach this. But we need to have that flexibility to give us access to that diverse community as well. So that's how it's going to change. The work from everywhere has really opened up this new hybrid model. And it's actually a great opportunity for a lot of organizations moving forward.
Yeah, it's really benefited. It's been interesting to see in the past year, when it comes to parents or, managing with their kids, seeing them balance the home life versus work life and being able to integrate the two much better with the flexi options. So that's just one example that I've noticed firsthand within my team.
Yeah, and I think it's a huge thing because a lot of people have now just gone, I have a different perspective now.
Yeah.
I didn't know, and certain time to, Stephanie's point around family and value is that, it's reassessing and making sure that you get that right balance while we navigate to the next new phase of normal, and that we've learned from that the last 18 months to allow us to continue to thrive. So yeah, it's been a tough situation, I think, in terms of COVID, really, but it's also been an opportunity for a lot of people to reassess, right, and figure out the new opportunities that come with that. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, Brigid, I really like actually what what you say, the idea of making it intentional as well. And we don't assume that we know everything and how it will look like. So we're learning by doing, and if we want to see a change in our lifetime, definitely we need to be an agent of change as well, starting with us. So I really like what you said. We are learning by doing, and collectively as well.
Yeah.
So Brigid, you touched a little bit on mentorship in your previous response. So just pivoting slightly more towards that theme, you've previously spoken on the importance of mentorship and sponsorship within your career. Can you talk to the impact of both throughout your career? Maybe also explain the difference between the two, because they seem to have this overlapping theme. And would you be able to provide to the future leaders tuning in any advice?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll give my view on it. I definitely think it's something that's changed over time for me, because I feel, from my experience, depending on what stage of your career you're at, a mentor is someone that kind of guides you, right? Based on, I feel it's experience. It's someone that it's either in a similar job, role, experience, or something, or it could be a family member, someone that just gives you different context on things. So I think that's the mentor role that I've seen, is that, and I have loads of those mentors, and they've been peers and friends over the years, or it's my sister, right? Who I always say she's literally like my confessional of most things and guides me. So I think that's, to me, is a mentor, is that someone that you can talk to around those things, get advice and that guidance. And for me, the sponsorship really is someone that helps you move forward in your career, that sees the value that you add, and opens some of those doors for you to provide you with that sponsorship. I think sometimes we can confuse when we maybe need those things, and we probably need both, but it's really important that we understand the difference within it. And I think when we're asking for mentorship, know what you want from that, know to ensure that your mentor is also going to get something from that, so it's a two-way street for both of you. And just really knowing the difference in sponsorship and mentorship is, I think it's a key. But I think we all need them. They don't necessarily have to be in the current environment that you're in. It can be anybody outside of that gives you a different perspective and lens as well. And that's what this is about, is different experience, talking things through, and then figuring out your own way, because you've also got to be authentic yourself. But we don't all have the answers and the experience, and having those people that we can trust to turn to talk to always helps when we walk that through as we navigate, right, our career or various different things in life. So that's what I would see as the mentorship. And then obviously sponsorship is someone that helps you move forward in your career, and will be in that room that you're not in, saying this person is amazing because of X, Y, Z. So I feel that's the difference around that.
Thank you. And Stephanie, any thoughts or anything to add around mentorship and sponsorship?
Yeah, so they are key topic. For me, they are both fueling and propelling my life mission of putting people at the heart of development. It's something that is top of mind for at Salesforce on a day-to-day. But as Brigid say, mentors and sponsors are not specifically within the company, but they can be outside as well. I think of my first experience and the mentor I had at the time saw in me a potential I didn't see in myself, and those are the power. These are the power of sponsorship and mentorship as well. Being choosing people choosing you who can challenge you once again, getting out of your comfort zone. Don't necessarily go to people who look like you because you want to be challenged, you want to move forward, and good positive challenge is good. And I would add a third layer of coaching, which is different as well, but they are like the three of them are in the idea of helping people grow, develop, and progress. And at Salesforce, we have a coaching pillar I'm part of, and we are aiming to enhance the coaching culture within the leadership, top down and bottom up. So it's something really important. And I'd say that we were talking about the future of work. I truly believe that the future of work cannot go without mentoring and sponsorship because we need, I'd say, a mirror to guide us as well. So really, really important program, whether inside or outside as well, because we often give back as well to organizations in order to help youth, for example, being guided and find their way and the path towards a brighter future.
Okay, we've had a couple Q&A questions come in, so I'm going to ask my last question. So if we can make them like really snappy two-liner responses so we can jump into Q&A. So what one lesson or piece of advice was most valuable to you along your career journey? And yeah, what I guess little piece of magic would you leave with our audience today?
I can start. I'd probably just say challenge yourself and others to push outside of your comfort zone, as the rewards can be immense, right? So yeah, that's just move out of that comfort zone, because it's incredible, right? And have that curious mind around us.
Yeah, really, really important. I'd say, so the advice that was given that I treasure until now, you are the CEO of your career, own it. So this would be one thing. And maybe an advice I would like to leave the audience with as well is be an agent of positive change, something really important. Brigid was touching on, being that inclusive leader. I think that being an agent of positive change, it's something that I'd like to leave the audience with as well today.
Thank you both so much. I'm going to jump to some of the Q&A that's popped in. So firstly, we have from Rukayat. Sorry if I've mispronounced your name, but they've asked, what would you say is the biggest challenge you've encountered as a Black woman in a leadership role, and how have you overcome it? That's to either of you.
Yeah, you know what? So many challenges. How much time you got? Because I got it, right? You know, I think in our career we will always have challenges, and not just even being as a woman as well, because we have to work so much harder to prove what we can do. And I think that was the biggest challenge for me, is that I always felt I needed to be the best in the room to showcase no matter what. And I think that's been a great thing, because I've looked at that as a positive, because what that means is any meeting or anything I do the best that I can, because I look at what I can control. And what I can control is the perception that I give in terms of what I do well. Nobody can do that apart from me. So I see that as an opportunity to always make sure is when I go in and do something, I do that to the best of my ability, and that's within my control. So I think all those challenges have absolutely spurred me on to become better and to continue to invest in myself. So they're definitely a positive. In my experience, is how I use them as those challenges, because we'll always have them. And you just need to make sure that you're driving your own change and your own self-development, and being your authentic self as well. And seeing it as an opportunity versus a positive opportunity for you. So yeah, that's what I'd say, that they'll always come, right? And it's how you address them and keep them within your control.
Yeah,
I might put, I was going to say, Stephanie, there's a similar-ish question, but I might pose this one to you. So Nathan has asked, sales is typically a white male-dominated space. How do you overcome potential imposter syndrome in this space and use your difference as an advantage?
Love that. Thanks, Nathan, for your question. And I would say really complimentary to what Brigid has shared. I'd say that, I was sharing earlier that we are CEOs of our career, and it's important to know, own it. And what I mean by own it, it's really to do our part, and the rest falling into place. It's knowing who you are, and back to those values that are dear to mine. It's about embracing your individuality and authenticity. And acknowledging the situation as well. And I'd say working with, in collaboration with people as well, in order to, allowing them to help you help yourselves. So I'd say that challenges will come, as Brigid said, totally agree. It's about acknowledging them, but not allowing them to prevent us from achieving our success. And there's a quote that I love. It's don't let life challenges eclipse your long-term vision. Actually, a quote that I made up myself. And I love that, because challenges will come, but embrace your individuality, do your part, and the rest will fall into place. I don't know if Nathan, if I answer your question, but this is my quick answer for you today.
Thank you for that, Stephanie. And just mindful of time, we have one last one here. So from Alicia. So in line with the mentorship conversation, what advice would you give to someone who has an opportunity to reverse mentor the chief risk officer in their organization? So I guess any C-suite level opportunity to do reverse mentorship. Any tips?
Oh, I think, yeah.
Go ahead, Brigid, go ahead.
I love that, right? And because I think this is what it is, that so much has changed in the last 18 months. We haven't truly appreciated it, where we've always understood things a certain way, and we got that opportunity to share that, and people's minds are open. So I would absolutely say if that opportunity comes, how you approach it matters, right? So reverse mentorship is probably a tricky thing depending on how experienced or how open to people are. So I think reading people is really, really important, and how you approach that conversation and the why, and make sure that you find an opportunity where it makes sense to bring that in. But really, because we can go into something where we're super confident in something that we know, but it has to be something that maybe we're solving for within the business, understand that personality, and actually knowing how you position that is half the battle. Because most of what we do is around the relationships and how we approach it. But we now have an opportunity for leadership, and people's minds are open into, I don't have all the answers, right? I need to tap into different perspectives. So absolutely use that opportunity, and just be mindful of how you approach that, depending on how open people are around that. And again, that you're getting something from that opportunity, and also they're getting something from that. It's a two-way win-win situation.
Yeah. And I would add, know your strength. Don't underestimate your capacity, because you can bring as much as they can bring you. And the idea as well of putting people at the heart of development, we can learn from everyone. The leader I am today is different to the leader I was a few years back, and I have learned from everyone through reverse mentoring as well. So don't underestimate your strength.
Great advice. And another question is coming from Chinello. What are your tips for women asking for more leadership roles?
So I would probably lead with don't ask for them just yet. So I suppose for me, if I take my example really quickly, I didn't go for it because I didn't think I could do it, right? And I don't know if that's what people resonate with, but I literally thought, I can't do this, because all I ever saw was male leaders doing it who weren't similar to my style. So that was all I had. And I think I built up a lot of experience, and then I decided to find out more with that curious mind I talk about, because you can have a perception of something, but until you actually look into it more and find, and the more I understood about that, the more I said, actually, I can do this. And I started looking at people were starting to come to me, asking me questions, and I was supporting people. So I was naturally leading without having the label on it yet. And I feel that's what it is decide, what is my type of leadership? Am I leading already in the current role that I have without having that title? And then starting to build, what are those areas that I need to have or develop? What are my strengths, to Stephanie's point around that? And then start to look for the opportunities that will get you closer, to that goal that you have. But it requires a lot of self-investment, and I think awareness in terms of what that looks like, and then building that plan to get there is really, really important.
Yeah, Brigid, I don't know if you remember, but a few years back, I went to you actually for advice in this same perspective, and the advice you gave me was, believe you can do it, and do the work and the support you will get. So I still remember that. Yeah.
Phew.
There we go. Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for all your words of wisdom. I hope everyone, sorry, a question just came in. Okay, last one, I promise. So Chanel asked, what do you do when family gets in the way? I guess it's more the family work-life balance side of things, especially with women.
Yeah. I think Stephanie, I can let you go. Yeah. You want to take that one?
Yeah, so I'd say that it's a collaboration. Actually, it's about communicating, with families, partners, and working together in order to find this balance. I'm thriving on a day-to-day with my husband to work on our organization, on our schedule with the girls, and it's not doing everything myself or himself. We cannot. So it's really about be true to ourselves about what we can manage, what we cannot. It's being I would say open to or sincere with our leaders in order for them to understand as well and give us the time or the space we may need. But it's about, we talk often about balance. I like harmony better because it may not be a 50-50, but it may be, enough for you to do your work and enjoy, your time with your family. So I say, let's be true to ourselves about what we can manage, what we cannot, and communicating openly so that we can get the help that we need as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for all the words of wisdom that we've all heard today. I hope everyone that's joined us has found this session really valuable. I know there are Salesforce recruiters jumping all around the platform, so please feel free to reach out to any of them. All three of us, our contact details are available on our profiles. So if you need to reach out, please do with any other follow-up questions. But yes, thank you and have a lovely rest of the day. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye-bye.